Hello YouTube, you're watching FPV by the Numbers, and I'm Kaz Walker. In this live stream, I'm going to be testing out a new sound configuration. I'm going to be recording from two microphones instead of my usual one. Before, I've just been recording using a shotgun microphone above the camera to kind of capture all the audio in the scene. And in this live stream, I'm going to be using a lapel mic as well, so hopefully my voice comes through a little bit better. And just to have some content while I'm testing this out, what I'm going to be doing is replacing this JST connector with an XT30 connector, and then sometime during the day I'm going to test that out on the GTR90, and if that works out, I'm going to be doing a test flight using the 2-cell battery on the GTR90 in my Blinging Out the Tyrannus live stream tonight. Because basically, when I was flying this GTR90 around, I found that it was a little too overpowered for indoor flight, so I'm hoping that 2 cells is going to help solve that. So, let's just get right into it. So the other neat little thing I'll be testing in this live stream is music. So I noticed that when I'm doing builds, sometimes when I'm working on something, there can be some dead audio, or sometimes when I'm just talking, there's some background fuzz from my audio equipment. So in order to kind of cover that up and make this stream more interesting to watch, I'm going to have some music playing in the background. So let's get it started. There we go. So I'm going to turn on my iron here. I've got it cranked up to about 650 degrees. I'll be soldering with lead-free solder. I solder with lead-free solder because this wood you see in the background here, that's actually my kitchen table, and I don't feel like having lead on my kitchen table because lead is a neurotoxin, and I don't think neurotoxins belong on the kitchen table. So. But yeah, so when I solder, I tend to get little bits of solder in kind of random places, and considering that this is my kitchen table, I definitely don't want little bits of lead in random places on my kitchen table, because I don't want to risk consuming lead or anything like that. Anyways, so my iron just preheated. That's what that flashing light there means. So I'll just get right into this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to snip off this connector. Using these side snips, I'm going to get as close to the connector as possible so I can preserve the length. The wire, that was a stupid thing to do. Yeah, you just saw a little short there. That was bad. Whoops. So don't do that. Bad. Don't do that. Yeah, these wires got pretty hot, so jeez. Damn. Okay, so cutting that close, bad idea. So if I was going to redo that, go in with a staggered approach. Do one a little lower, do one a little higher, pull the wire out after you've done that, because this pack is warm now. It's not puffed, but it's definitely warm. So that was a screw up on my part. So don't do that. I guess this is also becoming a bit of a lipo safety video. So don't do that. Don't do what I do. Okay. But yeah, so super important when you're handling this stuff, because yeah, this pack is warm now, and it actually freaked me out a little bit there. So here's the connector. I have a spare over here just in case I mess up. Always good to have a spare. So I'm just gonna cut that open, give that a toss. So this is the battery terminal here. This side with the socket and the pins, that's the male side of the connector that goes onto your quad. So I'm just gonna save that for later. Get rid of that little bit of plastic. Got my cell phone going on in the background here. It's like, by the way, if I seem a little disorganized, I apologize. It is currently 5 minutes to 8 a.m. on Wednesday, December 6th, 2017, and I have not yet had coffee, so I'm a little uncaffeinated here. Woke up at about 6 in the morning to get this all set up and see if I can get this working. Anyways, so I'm gonna start off by just kind of sticking this down in some sticky tack at an angle that holds it up so I can see what I'm doing. And what I'm gonna start out is I'm just gonna pre-tin these little connectors. They're like little U's. You can kind of see that. They're like little. They got the little U-shaped here part of it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some solder down in there. I'm gonna flux it up first because I'm using lead-free solder, so I tend to use flux more often than the average person or anybody not using lead-free solder. Basically, if you're using lead-free solder, you want to use flux because it'll just make better solders. So the way I'm going to be getting flux in there is just a simple push pin. And I can hear the music too while this is going, so this is nice. I kind of like this. It's nice. Anyways, so I'm gonna get some flux down in there. You don't have to be super precise with it, just a nice little coating, because it'll kind of splat. Like when it heats up, it'll kind of splash around and just get everywhere it needs to be. And you don't want to do too much, because then it's just a mess and it's a bit of a pain to clean up. Anyways, so there we go. That one turned out nice. I don't know how well the camera's picking that up, but it's just right in there nicely, so that's nice. I'm just cramming more into this one. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I like what I'm seeing. I should have had a napkin to wipe this up, because I don't want to get flux all over it, but let's see. Oh, that worked. It's working. Okay, there we go. So now I'm gonna put this back onto the sticky tack. And actually, I think for this, I'm not even gonna use the sticky tack for this part of it. I think I'm gonna use these tweezers. These are just kind of common with electronics and stuff in general, so super handy, just because it clamps itself shut, and then you can, if you wanted, you could stick it into the sticky tack and kind of make a stand. It's not working because I don't have enough sticky tack to support it, but you get the idea. All right, so looking at my solder here, or my iron tip here, looks nice. Gonna hit it on that sponge, scrape off any solder. Got that really nice clean tip going on here. This is a huge tip for this small of work, but I don't really feel like swapping out tips, and I don't think I have an extra small one right now. So I'm gonna have to pick up more. But anyways, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of solder on the tip of the iron before I even touch it to the workpiece, because having a bit of solder on the tip of the iron keeps it liquid, and it increases the contact surface of the two, basically of your heat source and your workpiece. So what that is going to do is help the heat transfer, basically. And also, one other trick that I'm going to be doing that I forgot, or I just remembered I need to do, is I'm going to put the connector in the female part, because these pins will act as a heat sink to help pull away heat, and also keep the connectors straight while they're being soldered together. It's yeah, should help a little bit. Okay, so going back here, there we go. And yeah, the solder's not heating up too much, so it's not going liquid. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. So that's actually pretty full, but whatever. I'll just take a little bit off at a time here. Oops. Ow, hot. Okay, I'm going to use a combination of the sticky tack and this at the same time. There we go. Brilliant. Okay, I like that. This is working now. Okay. This is actually the first XT30 that I've soldered, or no, this is the second one I've soldered. First one was on a model plane, but yeah, this is so this is only the second XT30 I've soldered. I've soldered XT60s, but the 30s are a bit of a different beast. They're a little bit harder because they're smaller. Anyways, so got that set up now. Just gonna clean my iron. I'm always cleaning the iron. I like having a nice clean iron. There we go. Blow that flux smoke out of my face. There we go. Okay, so those are tinned. The one I did originally, the first one, that one has a little too much solder on it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and just get a little bit off. I'm gonna use the iron as a bit of a magnet, solder magnet here, just to heat it up. Yeah, see how it's not melting? It's because I don't have solder on the tip to increase the surface area. So if I do this, now you'll see it should heat up pretty damn fast right there. But I put even more solder on. No. Okay, so this is why I have the solder wick out here. So that's basically when I want to use solder wick. I just go and I stick it on the flux, just kind of scrape it around, just a light coating, and that'll just help the solder kind of, the solder wick just kind of pick it up there. So yeah, there we go. Okay, so I got a little bit, and I'm gonna go back for more. Yeah, okay, well, it's better. It's not perfect, but whatever. Okay, so battery's cooled down from those little sparkies I did there. So remember, don't be stupid like I was. Don't cut across and cut both wires at once. That's dumb. Cut one, then staggered and on the other side. Because yeah, I wasn't thinking. Haven't had my coffee this morning. Not a good plan. Do this with coffee in your system, or caffeine, tea. Do it with a clear mental state, not groggy. Because otherwise you'll end up doing what I did, and it's not good for your lipos. So I'm going to start with the negative connector, which you can see is marked on this side of it, and that is the curved side of the connector. So since I'm predominantly right-handed, I'm going to put it over to this side because that way I can go in this way. Okay, and I'm going to bend back this wire and just keep it out of the way because I really don't want that red wire coming into contact here. And before I put the wire on, I have my color matching heat shrink here. This is a couple bucks on Banggood, and I think they just call it battery heat shrink. And it comes in a bunch of various sizes, and I think it's like 2 or 3, maybe it was 10 bucks, but like just a bunch of different sizes, and it's super handy if you're a little particular. Let's call it particular about how your batteries look, and if you want heat shrink to match your batteries, which I do. I don't like seeing black heat shrink stuck on a red wire. I know that's a really minor and kind of stupid thing, but you know, I just like it to be nice. Okay, so this heat shrink, this isn't gonna fit. That sucks. Cause yeah, if this wire gets hot while I'm soldering, this is gonna shrink before I even get it on, and it's gonna be stuck, and it's just gonna be completely useless. So, damn. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this little piece back in here. And I thought that might be the case when I was taking all my stuff out and prepping here, so I'm gonna go one size up. And this is kind of ridiculous. This is just one size up, and it's like huge. Huge. Like, will this even shrink to the wire? I don't know. This is the next size up I could find in the box, but it shrinks by 2, so it should shrink down to the right size. I think. I hope. Let's find out, shall we? Oops, yeah. Yeah, I'm really digging having the music, at least for myself, because it's a lot nicer than just listening to myself talk in my apartment while I'm sitting around alone. It's weird. Talking music, better than talking alone. So hopefully you can hear the crinkle of plastic a little bit. Hopefully not too much. Anyways, you know, get that immersive experience. Wait, starting with the black wire. What am I doing? There we go. So when you put on heat shrink, just so, like I mentioned before, so you don't have that that problem where the heat shrink shrinks before you intend it to, the best way is just to move it up onto the wire as far as possible. In this case, it's not much, but you know, that little bit is going to help a little, as much as it can. It's going to help as much as it can. So I'm going to cut off, I don't know. For the Americans watching, I think that's about 1/8 of an inch. For the rest of the world, it's about 4 millimeters I'm cutting off here. Okay. So we got that, and this is the little pit of flux. You can tell this is just kind of where I get the flux on the wires. Yeah, I just kind of coat the outside. You don't have to go crazy with the flux. Like this container will last me like forever, basically, because I'm not going like just super heavy on the flux. Like you want the wire to look slightly yellowed, but like it shouldn't be dripping. It shouldn't be caked on there, because then it's just going to be a sticky mess after you finish it. And that's also why I like this silicone pad, is if any flux does come off, it's going to be really easy to clean on this, but really it just shouldn't get to that point in the first place. Okay, so cleaning the iron. There we go. And oh, I'm going to tin this wire. What am I doing? Yes, tinning the wire. So, putting the smoke in my face. Let that go up to my camera. And then just letting that solder on the wire there, letting that heat up. I know this is a poor technique. There's better techniques, but if you use flux, this is I don't know. I've had no issues with this technique since I use flux. So, but if you're not using flux, it might not be so easy. There we go. See, we got a nice shiny coat of solder on the end of this wire now. And yeah, to all the people who say you can't get nice shiny solders with lead solder, well, look at that. Okay. Yep. So, like I said, in order to help with the heat transfer, you always get a little bit of solder on the end of your iron there. Nice little blob. And then just going to push that in there and just wait for it to take the heat. Watching everything go molten. There we go. That is messy. That's not the angle I want. Let me retry. Actually, that's... Oh, no, I don't like it from this side, so... Actually, once I reflow the solder a touch, that's not too bad. Sorry if my head's getting in the shot here. A little hard to get a good shot and to have it all on there. But There we go. There we go. It's not pretty, but it works. It's got extra solder. It's just carrying those extra amps that much better. No, I'm just kidding. But it's definitely not a cold solder because look at that, nice and shiny. That's what I'm saying. You use the right heat setting, you can do nice solders. Lead-free solders, that is. So cool. So in order to avoid any sparkage problems like we saw before, this is when I'm gonna crank down this heat shrink and just put it right in there. It is gonna make it a little bit harder. Oh, by the way, I apologize for the noise. This is a heat gun, so this is going to be a little loud. I will keep this on the low setting though, so it doesn't go crazy. And I will try and do this as fast as humanly possible. Come on, shrink, shrink. Come on. Temperature is not very warm. Come on. Just crank the temperature a little. I shouldn't be able to. Okay, there we go. It's getting a little warmer. But yeah, you shouldn't be able to hold your finger in front of the heat gun. If you can hold your finger in front of the heat gun, not hot enough to shrink your shrink wrap. Heat shrink. Sorry. And then yeah, okay. So now it's gone to a decent diameter. So it looks like this worked, just barely. This looks like it's towards the end of towards the lower limit of what this can shrink to, but yeah. So I'm just gonna squish it on down in there a little, just so there's no exposed bits of metal or the lead, and that looks nice. So that's one done. That's one side done. Not bad, not bad. Okay, and then, let's see. Get this other side all jigged up here. But yeah, this video included more detail than I thought because I did the stupidness and sparked the LiPo right on screen there. That was totally not intentional. Yeah, that was just creepy. Yeah, because the battery actually got warm. That was stupid. Don't do that. That's why you should watch a YouTube video on how to do this stuff before you do it. Clearly, I did not. That's why this video exists now. It's here to help you out. All right. So cleaning off the iron again. There we go. Got it all nice and shiny again. Oh wait, what am I doing? I don't need the iron yet. I need some wire to solder to. There we go. Oh, I like the song. Wah, 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 wah. I can't believe there's just so much great music that you can use royalty free. So I'm not paying for this music. There's going to be some links down in the description though once this gets posted as a proper video. Because yeah, this music is great. And you know, if you're a YouTube creator and you wanna add that kind of next nice little touch to your video, consider music. Because I don't know, I watch quad videos and it seems like only like Ladrib and Mr. Steel, you know, kind of like the vlog style of quad pilots. They've got music and they've got the cool, like, more cinematic look to them, to their videos. But I think more people should do that because it's just a nice touch and it makes watching them really pleasant, or at least I think so. But yeah, hopefully I'm gonna combine this whole kind of how-to / review genre and add some music to it, you know? Not that that's really a big thing, but you know, little touches count. My tip is oxidizing as I'm talking here. Taking too long. There we go. I'm gonna get an extra big bead of solder here because I'm tinning the wire. I'm gonna go in at this angle instead, and I'm just gonna kind of wrap it around like a blanket. Just go around, wrap it around there. And that's a little too much solder, so I'm gonna take some off. There we go. Beauty. Oh yeah, and putting that blob of solder back on before I hit it, before I hit the iron to it. that crappy smoke out my face. Okay, this one's a little tougher. Gonna squish it in at the angle here, like this sticky tack trick. Can't remember where I learned this. I think it was like on an Arduino form ages ago. Like back when I first got into electronics in around like 2011, when I was learning how to build 3D printers and that kind of stuff. Because I can also build 3D printers from scratch. I can build a quad from scratch. I can build a 3D printer from scratch. I kind of just love building electronics. And I'm also a professional software developer, so I can also code them up if I so choose. Though I don't really do C or any of the languages. Not, at least I don't use them a lot. So it would take some time for me to do the kind of work that would be required to make mods to Betaflight and all that kind of stuff. But maybe in future videos I'll do some coding. I really want to put a Raspberry Pi on a quad, just cause, you know, have a little flying hotspot, do some extra data collection, maybe have some image recognition, probably use nerves or something like that, and TensorFlow to do image recognition, that kind of stuff. Anyways. Okay, that one was significantly easier. It turned out well. Turned out well on almost the first shot there. Just moving the solder around a little bit. Just taking the sharp spikes off, basically. Sometimes lead-free solder can do that if it's a little cold. If you're getting little peaks on your lead-free solder, if you're soldering with lead-free solder, so all these tips are for lead-free mostly, but if you're getting little spikes that are coming off, it means that your solder is not hot enough. And basically you need more heat. So that's a nice, see how it's shiny? People say you can't get shiny solders with lead-free. That's a lie. It is harder though. You need a better iron, you need a temperature controlled iron. And people say you oxidize tips faster. I do not find that to be the case. I've had this solder tip on here for ages and it's fine. The one thing that I do though is every time before I store my iron, so I'm just about to turn off my iron because I'm done with the solder now. But what I do is I take it and I just run it into this tip tinner here that I've just stuck on the top of my iron. Leave kind of a nice fluxy coating. That way when my iron is cooling down, and then I just kind of scrape off the excess. That way, and then I'm going to turn off my iron here. That way, so that leaves this nice kind of coating on of solder on the iron, and that way that protects your iron while it's in storage. So that's a little tip I learned. I can't remember where I picked that one up. Probably all on the Arduino forums, because there's a massive amount of useful information on there. So okay, so getting this heat shrink down into place. Gonna push it down further this time so it's easier. Yeah, there we go. So now that's in place. Gonna take out the connector. Look at that. Nice. No crooked pins, no nothing out of place. gonna hold that down as I do the initial heat gun, so sorry about the noise. Keep this on the low setting so it's not like a hair dryer into your ears if you're listening on headphones. Try and keep it away from my lapel mic so it doesn't get picked up too much. Oh, that was long heat shrink. I didn't need to cut the pieces this long. I don't know. Whatever. It all works. It all works. Okay. But yeah, so the reason why heat shrink is super important, especially on a connector this size, is if you had, let's say a screw came loose on your quad, it could easily fall in between this gap and you're gonna get a short and you're gonna get those sparks that you saw earlier in the video, and that is just not nice on your lipo. Because that made my lipo pretty warm, as I was saying. I'm still weirded out by it, because that is, I try and be really safe with lipos, and that's actually my first lipo incident that I've had ever. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up this. So I had this battery in storage mode because I haven't used it for a while, or storage voltage because I haven't used it for a while. So I'm going to go charge this up, but I'll test it out during the day on the GTR 90 here. Got to throw the receiver back in because if you've watched my previous streams, you know I've been having some issues with SmartPort. But anyways, I will give that a test during the day. Give it a fly. If it works well, I will also do a flight after I do my Blinging Out the Tyrannus live stream tonight. That live stream is going to be at 6 p.m. Pacific, so that's Wednesday, December 6th, 2017, 6 p.m. Pacific. Or if you're in the future, it's already going to be as a video posted, etc., etc. The videos tend to go out at about 9 a.m. the next day. I do the live streams live and then edit the description and do cards and all that stuff. So they get scheduled for 9 a.m. the next day. So if you want to watch the live streams and you want to get that early access, or you want to watch live and you want to chat with me while I'm doing this stuff, you gotta tune in live. So I haven't created the scheduled event yet for the live stream tonight, but I will do that as soon as I end this stream. And I'll also create the Tiny Whoop build stream, because I'll be doing one on the weekend for an ultimate Tiny Whoop build. So anyways, if you enjoyed this and you enjoy live streams, please consider subscribing to my channel, because this is how I make my content, and I like this format. And if you do too, subscribe, because I really appreciate the subscribers. It gives me really good motivation. And if you saw that I did anything wrong in this video with the battery, or you have any comments about the audio or anything in general, because this is a new setup, let me know down in the comments, because that's how I find out about this stuff. Anyways, I've got to get to work now, so I will talk to you guys later tonight, and I will see y'all later. Bye bye.